Start it up.
Alright YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So on this video I've got something a bit different. Got a bit of work on a camper van. It's a A-class, I think it's like a Fiat Ducato or that sort of variant of a camper van. Quite easily possibly the biggest dashboard I've ever done. And this is how I've received it. And it's looking very worse for wear. It's got this sort of material on the surface which is, I'll show you now, see that? If I go like that, you can literally scrape it off. It's horrific stuff. I've seen a few cars with this, a lot of VW cars have it. I don't know why manufacturers put it on because it's just horrendous to deal with. I think someone's already had a go trying to scrape this off. So the customer's tasked me with trying to make this look a bit nicer. So I suggested just basically flocking over it. There isn't really much prep we can do with the surface because it's naturally, it's tacky as it is. So what I'm thinking is just literally just give it a bit of a clean, get all the dust off it, and just put like a good layer of epoxy resin over the top of it, and then just flock into the epoxy resin. Hopefully when it cures, it'll give it like a sort of a shell, and it'll basically just be like a barrier between the outside elements and this horrible material. So it should be fine. It's not worth trying to scrape this all off. You can see someone's had a go and they've also got bored. There's just no way you're going to strip all that off. And the cost would be through the roof. So this is going to be a nice, simple way of bringing this dashboard back to life and making it presentable that you can have in the camper van, because it's just horrendous the way it is. So without further ado, I'm going to try something smooth in a few bits. We got serious divots like here and there. Just going to try and smooth them in. So like, just got to try and move it with your fingers really, and just get it as smooth as you can, and then give it a clean. Then get it flocked. It's actually too big to go in my booth, so I'm gonna have to flock this in the main workshop and put it under a heat lamp. Once that's cured, so you can actually pick it up, I'll then put it back into the flocking booth and I can stand it upright and bring the temperature up and elevate it, which will do the final cure for the resin. So it's not the normal way I do the flocking process. I normally like to do it all in the booth, so there's no contaminants, but it is what it is, and this is the only way I can do it. So no more waffling on. Let's get on with the job in hand. Right, believe it or not, I've actually got it to fit in the booth. So it's going to be a bit of a squeeze and a bit like the Krypton Factor trying to dive around it. But I've smoothed it off as best I can. I'm just hoping the resin's going to do the rest, and I'll have to make it quite resin rich. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to like sort of flock it from this side first, and then climb underneath, and then pull the flocking machine to the other side, and then do that side. But be very careful. I mean, look how close it is. It's touching there. It's really close, but I'd rather get it done in here because I don't really want to do it in an open workshop, especially when it's like 2.1 meters long. It's ridiculous. So give it one more quick clean and then on with some resin. Fingers crossed it looks all right. Let's get on with it. Right, so that was a big job, covered in flock. But yeah, it's done. Just got to let it to cure, leave it to cure now, but I've smoothed it out as best I can. I mean, it's looking a bit patchy because it's excess flock. So once it's all cured, I can use the air gun to get all the excess off and I should be left with a lovely nice one colour. But yeah, the machine was working overtime. So if you look on the gauge, if I press the actuator now, that's straight up to 60,000 volts. I've never used that setting before, and it absolutely threw the flock onto this dashboard. I wanted it to go on as fast as possible before the resin starts curing. But yeah, that was a big job and used a lot of resin, a lot of flock. But I think it's a massive improvement just by looking at it so far. I think I'm going to leave this for at least 2 days now to fully cure with the heaters on. So get the temperature right up in here, get it nice and toasty. And hopefully that will seal that horrible surface in underneath the epoxy resin, and it should be much more a dash that's easy to live with. So let's leave it to cure, and we'll come back when it's all done. Okay, so that's it, job done. I've blown all the excess flock off. I've just installed these little rubber channels on the sides to take a bit of the slack between the camper and the dash, stop vibration, soundproofing. But it's got a nice finish, nice consistent. Quite happy with it. Certainly the biggest dashboard I've done in a long time. But yeah, I've not installed the U channel that was originally around the front, basically because there was just no purchase on it, and it'll just come off eventually. So I've advised the customer to either buy a fresh U channel that you use for wide arch kits, which is more of an even U channel profile, or just leave it as it is, just see how it is when it's in situ. But yeah, something different to a race car. Hope you've enjoyed the content. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.